Justice with Judge Mablean will be life, because in everything we do, it involves the law. You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good. This one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean. Maria de la Cruz is suing Caroline Snodley on behalf of St. Xavier Catholic School in the amount of $20,000. She believes her civil rights were violated when the defendant fired her for having a child out of wedlock.
All parties are sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may be seated. This is the matter of Maria de la Cruz versus Caroline Snodley on behalf of St. Xavier Catholic School. And Ms. de la Cruz, you're suing the school for $20,000. What happened?
Well, I believe that I was wrongfully terminated by having a child out of wedlock.
You were a teacher at a Catholic school?
Yes, for 9 years.
Okay. And what happened?
And I had a child. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years that I've been living with. And we had a child. We planned to get married. Unfortunately, he turned violence on me, mentally and physically, that we had to go on our separate ways.
You had the child before you were terminated?
Yes. The child is 5 months old.
And the school terminated you on what premise, Ms. Snodley?
On the premise that she broke her moral code of conduct that's in her employment contract, that she signed, she's fully aware of.
Now, was she terminated while she was pregnant or after she delivered?
She was terminated 4 months into the pregnancy. I think it's important to understand that I received many phone calls from parents of the students in her class with a rumor that she was pregnant. We had no idea that she was pregnant.
So how would the parents of the students know that she was pregnant? And she's coming to school every day and you guys don't know.
I was going to let them know.
The students told their parents, and the parents called the Board of Regents, and we started to investigate, and we had a meeting, and we had to come to a decision.
You didn't know, you couldn't tell that she was pregnant, is that it?
Well, I'm not in her class. I'm the president of the Board of Regents, so I represent the community in this case.
All right, so the Board of Regents received calls. The parents received statements from the students saying that she was pregnant. The parents called the school called the Board of Regents. You all had a meeting, decided to terminate her for violation of the morals code, the moral conduct code.
Yes.
May I see that code?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you recall signing a moral conduct code when you became an employee of the school?
Yes, I sure do, 9 years ago.
And do you recall what that moral conduct code said and what it prohibited?
Yes.
What did it say?
They don't believe in having a child without not being married.
The Code of Conduct, Your Honor, states that improper or immoral behavior, according to our institution at St. Xavier Catholic School, or according to the word of our Lord.
So what's the immoral behavior according to the school or the word of your Lord?
We believe it's pregnancy out of wedlock.
Okay.
I'm also
so
devoted
you believe that no
Catholic.
fornication, right?
We believe it's a mortal sin to engage in
and
sex
also
and
it is a mortal
Yes, Your
sin
Honor.
to have an abortion. I am a devoted Catholic. That I don't believe in abortion.
So you have a moral sin to abort and a moral sin to engage in sexual behavior. We call it fornication without the benefit of marriage.
That's right.
And so she violated the moral sin of fornication.
Yes, Your Honor.
And does that apply for both male and females?
It does, Your Honor.
Conduct that is considered to be inappropriate or immoral with regard to any of the aforementioned institutional standards or the word of the Lord will not be tolerated and could be subject to fiscal or disciplinary punishment. So it doesn't say, is she entitled to a hearing? Did she have a hearing of any kind?
No, Your Honor, we had
Did you
a
ever
meeting
meet
of...
with her?
No, Your Honor. We had a meeting of the Board of Regents, which included Father O'Malley, so 2 other members and myself. We received over 10 phone calls out of 20 students from parents.
I got that, but who You didn't know she was pregnant. You didn't see her as pregnant. So who confirmed her pregnancy if you didn't bring her before the Board of Regents?
Well, I went down to her classroom, pulled her out of class, and fired her on the spot when I saw that she was showing.
So she wasn't able to come to the hearing and say anything?
There was no hearing, Your Honor.
How did you know she wasn't married?
We heard
it doesn't take long to
Yes,
get married.
exactly. We planned to get married.
How did you know at the termination meeting that you and the board went to, how did you all come to the conclusion that she was unmarried and that her pregnancy was fornicated, was an act of fornication?
Well, we heard from the parents of the children.
Heard from the parents?
Yes, Your Honor.
How they know how she got pregnant? Were they there?
No, Your Honor.
You're not telling me that an intelligent board of regents from a prestigious Catholic school took the word of parents that someone was pregnant and unmarried and never confirmed from the person herself? Are you telling me that?
Well, Your Honor, this is a very small community. There are only 250 students. Everybody knows everybody's business.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
The immoral behavior was pregnant outside of marriage. Where is the proof she was pregnant outside of marriage prior to the termination?
It was impossible not to see that she was pregnant.
And later.
And then I heard a terrifying sound. I ran to the corner and I saw that air conditioner fall on my dog.
Justice with Judge Mablean. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Maria de la Cruz, who is suing Caroline Snodley on behalf of St. Xavier Catholic School for wrongful termination.
Let me talk to your witness. What you have to say, Mr. Sir? Come forward.
Yeah,
Mr. Soriano, what's your role here?
Well, I've been teaching at this Catholic school for 10 years now, and I've known Miss Maria. I mean, she has been an exemplary teacher. I mean, the kids look up to her. So when I hear about this marriage thing or this pregnancy thing, it's like totally shocked. But what I see as an experienced teacher right there in the front lines, right there in the battlefield, I see that she is a role model to the children. In fact, a lot of these kids have gone on to prestigious universities because of her tutelage, Your Honor.
What about that? When you say she's not a good role model?
Your Honor, we're not talking about her teaching now. We're talking about her moral character and breaking the moral code.
What if somebody curses at students? What would you do about that?
That's
you don't
improper.
call that immoral?
She'd be caught up. Yes, she'd be called up on the board.
What about forgiveness? She's not entitled to forgiveness for her wrongs, for what is wrong. Where's the forgiveness?
We're not questioning.
So couldn't you have just suspended her during the last 4 months?
We don't think she's a good role model as she takes a baby out of wedlock to term.
It is the 21st century. It is against biblical principles to have and become pregnant outside of marriage. It's called fornication. You get pregnant because you're fornicating. Fornicating is having sex without the benefit of marriage, and you're well aware of that code, and you're well aware of the Catholic belief, and you live together for 5 years with the man. Here's my confusion, is that you lived with him for 5 years, and no one bothered to ask what you were doing. And here's what puzzles me more, is that you did not confirm prior to the termination that you had grounds. You took hearsay from parents. You took hearsay from students and everybody else that this woman wasn't married. You didn't even bother to confirm your facts before you terminated her. You at least should have gone to her and say, you know what, we've heard, and can you tell us what the circumstances are? Because she could have gotten married out of state. It only takes, a second to get married. It took a long time to get married, but you did not confirm the facts. You say, I terminated her because of immoral behavior. The immoral behavior was pregnant outside of marriage. Where is the proof she was pregnant outside of marriage prior to the termination?
It was impossible not to see that she was pregnant.
You didn't know whether she was married or not, though.
That's true.
Oh, so since that's true, you terminated her at that point without cause because you didn't have the facts.
It was a firestorm.
Well, here's the bigger firestorm. Pay her $20,000.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's the order of the court.
You.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $20,000.
I'm happy with my baby, and I'm happy to not work for you.
You just should have followed our moral code.
Coming up,
And then I heard a terrifying sound, like a bomb was falling from the sky, and I saw that air conditioner fall on my dog.
Justice with Judge Mablean. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. Marcia Petrov is suing her landlord, Jeff Anderson, in the amount of $2,150. She claims the defendant is responsible for an air conditioning unit that fell on her dog and killed it.
In the matter of Marcia Petrov versus Jeff Anderson suing for $2,150 because the air conditioner killed your dog?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow, that's a new one. How did this happen?
I took my dog, as usually, in my purse, dog purse, for a walk. And then my dog, unfortunately, saw a squirrel and jumped out from the purse and ran after the squirrel into that very corner. And then I heard a terrifying sound, like a bomb was falling from the sky. And then the sounds of my poor dog crying for help. I ran to the corner and I saw that air conditioner from the third floor fall on my dog.
Okay, the air conditioner from the third floor of where? Take me back. Where were you walking the dog?
Is that our
In my
apartment complex?
courtyard.
In your apartment courtyard?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and it was a 3-story building.
Yes.
And you said you had the dog, you took him out of his bag, his carrier. Why
From
did you have the
carrier.
dog in the carrier?
Because dogs are against the rules, Your Honor.
Against what rules?
Against the rules of the apartment.
Oh, you live in the same building.
I am the landlord and the owner.
Oh,
This is correct. Hudson
okay,
Terrace-
Mr. Landlord and owner, tell me what was going on. So you were installing an air conditioner or something?
No, Your Honor. I have owned and operated it for the last 10 years. Okay? The specific unit that the conditioner fell from is owned by a gentleman named Mark.
Okay.
He's a handyman. Okay? Anytime he needs to fix anything in his unit, I let him do it.
Okay.
I inspect it after he, does it or repairs it, and everything is okay. Everything is up to code. Everything is done
So
correctly.
this tenant was repairing an air conditioner or replacing or installing one?
Correct. There was an air conditioner on his unit that had broke. Okay?
Okay.
So he needed to remove the old one and install the new one.
Okay.
And he asked me if I was okay with him doing that. And as he had done work like that before, I said yes. And I looked at it after he had installed it completely, and it was done correctly. Okay.
Well, you said something about dogs are not permitted on the property.
Dogs are not permitted. Neither are cats. Okay. What happened to her dog was an unfortunate freak accident. The plaintiff has my fullest apologies and sympathies, but this entire case is based on her breaking the rules.
And what rules were those? The rules of the
Rule
tenancy?
number 5 at
Okay.
Hudson Terrace,
Let me see.
and that is the signed and dated rule sheet, Your Honor. Rule number 5, Hudson Terrace does not allow dogs or cats to live on the premises. Signed and dated by the plaintiff. She has known this entire time that dogs are not allowed at the apartments. Okay? You hear from her own mouth that she has to walk her dog in a bag to keep it from being seen. Okay? Mind you,
No, she didn't say all that yet. I asked her why was the dog in the bag, but she didn't answer me yet. Now I'm going to ask her again. Why was your dog in the bag?
Because
In your apartment courtyard.
because the dog is not permitted in the facility.
And you have a dog living in your apartment building?
Yes.
And the landlord didn't know it?
No.
How
For
long
3
have you
months,
been hiding this dog in the apartment?
Because my dog is a very well-trained companion. It's not just any wild dog. It's my soulmate.
Coming up,
Your landlord should have been made aware of it. Sounds like you were sneaking the dog.
closed captioning provided by. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Marcia Petrov, who is suing Jeff Anderson for emotional distress.
Do you have, I know there are all kind of rules regarding dogs these days, and there is something that's called the companionship dog. Of course, you have the dog for seeing eye, for disabled, but for each of those, you have to get a certificate and say that you are required to and allowed to have this dog for psychological purposes, and that certificate has to be given to you by a doctor, and you have to carry it at all times. And certainly, if that was the case, your landlord should have been made aware of it, because you should have shown it to him.
Yes.
Sounds like you were sneaking the dog.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you moved in and you signed this agreement,
yes,
you lied.
Partially. Because
Partially?
for me, it's not a dog. If you know...
Well, you know, a dog is a dog is a dog. Now, what it means to you is different than what a dog means to me.
Exactly.
But a dog is a dog is a dog. Now, you treat it like a child. You play with it like a child. You can do anything else with it and pretend that it's a child.
It's not
to
a child
you.
for me.
To
it's
you.
Not a child.
Huh?
For me, it's not a child.
What is it to you?
It's a savior. Because after my very hard divorce with my very abusive husband, I have found only one savior. It's a dog.
One companion.
One companion who loves me unconditionally, who never humiliate me.
They say all dogs love their owners unconditionally. That's why it said dog is a man's best friend.
Yes.
Let me see
That's what
that
I want to
dog, the
say.
picture of your loving dog.
Yes, please. This dog cannot harm anyone.
Was it? Oh, it is a cute little poodle.
Yes,
Is that a
it is.
poodle? I don't know one dog from the other. What is it? I said poodle,
It's
honey.
a
Please
York.
forgive me.
It's a York.
It's a York.
Yes. And his name was Mongo.
What?
Mongo.
Mongo.
Yes, it was his name.
Is that a pedigree? One of those special dogs? They cost a lot. Cost about $2,000-3,000. Is that what you had?
It's a pretty expensive dog.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. Promotional consideration provided by... You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
I empathize with you, but if the dog had not been where the dog was not supposed to be, and that was because of you, the dog would not have been killed. So you contributed to the death of the dog because you had the dog at an apartment complex where he was not supposed to be. The person installing the air conditioner was doing what he was allowed to do, and there was an accident. And he may have been pushing it out the window. I don't know. But the point is, it's not his responsibility for the death of your dog because your dog was in a place that he did not belong at that time. So I do judgment for the defendant. But what I'm going to suggest to you, since dogs have such an emotional appeal to you, is before you purchase it, when you purchase another one, make sure you get that certification from your doctor, all right? So you'll be able to have it with you at all times. So judgment for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I don't know how this case even got this far. The judge did the right thing.
I believe that people and their feelings should go first before any rules.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.